going to get into J. Cole bigging up one of his musical idols, Kanye West, despite the fact that Kanye has been throwing a lot of shade J. Cole's way in recent times. So let me get this screen up real quick. So J. Cole recently started a podcast. Let's see here. So
word, he got a podcast now?
Yeah, recently. He literally just started it. So it's nothing.
Okay.
It's like a brand new thing. But yeah, J. Cole recently started a new podcast. And during that podcast, he talked about Kanye being one of his favorite artists because Kanye showed him how he can be himself as a rapper and talk about the way that some of the things that he wants to talk about or talk about his life, even though it is not the archetype for the way a lot of his favorite rappers talked about their life. He says that Kanye kind of showed him the way for being able to do that. And he bigs up Kanye for that, even though Kanye hasn't had very many nice things to say about J. Cole recently. So this says, J. Cole praises favorite artist Kanye West amidst ongoing feud. J. Cole is taking stock of his career and his place in the rap game. The Dreamville founder recently launched the podcast Inevitable. It will give Cole the chance to talk about the making of his most iconic songs, as well as build anticipation for his final album, The Fall Off. Naturally, the rapper kicked things off by discussing his debut mixtape, The Warm Up Volume 1. It was during the discussion of this tape that Cole decided to wax poetic on the importance of Kanye West, an artist who has mocked him repeatedly in the last 8 months. Kanye West's influence on J. Cole has never been a secret. The latter rapped on 3 West beats on the Warm-Up Volume 1. Cole also used Ye's classic Last Call as the template for his 2009 mixtape, The Warm-Up, as well as his 2014 album, 2014 Forest Hill Drive. J. Cole is and always will be a son of Kanye West, and he said as much during the first episode of Inevitable. He became my favorite artist. He kind of cracked my mind open. Kanye was the first time I saw myself in somebody. He just made it possible to talk about your life or regular perspectives in a way that's appealing. I didn't know how to talk about my life. And then effing Kanye West happened. Let's see. Play J. Cole. Never. I didn't know how to talk, blah, 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 blah. It was touching to hear the Dreamville honcho reflect on such a formative moment in his career. It's also a somewhat odd time to share this information. After all, Kanye West insulted J. Cole on the Like That remix in April. Play J. Cole, get the pussy dry, he rapped. Play this stuff back 130 times. West doubled down on this stance during an appearance on the Download podcast. West felt that Cole was a pussy for apologizing to Kendrick Lamar amidst the Big 3 beef. F all that stuff, because like an N-word J. Cole went on tour with Drake. He know what it is. You can't put Cole and up in the same sentence. J. Cole's comments on the Inevitable podcast marked the first time he has spoken about Kanye West since these insults were made. Obviously, the rapper is opting to take the high ground, and focus on cementing his legacy. So here is some audio from that episode of J. Cole's podcast in which he talks about Kanye.
Finding was I was an aggressive battle rapper, right? That had like bars, and I was a storyteller of like fantasy, like The Storm, like completely made up scenarios, whether it be a love story, like a movie. I had that, but my life was actually hella regular. I didn't sell no drugs. You know what I mean? It was nothing like my favorite rappers. You know what I mean? Like it was nothing like Jay-Z life looked like. It was nothing like fucking Pac life appeared to be. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing gangster about it. So I had a hard time finding, seeing myself as somebody. You know what I mean? That the lifestyle portion was kind of like I didn't get it. I didn't know how to talk about my life in a way that was like that people could connect with, or even I could. And then fucking Kanye West happened right before I went to college. In the summer of 2003, before I went to college, the Through the Wire video dropped, and that shit changed my life first of all. And then I became like a massive Kanye fan. And Kanye was the first time that I saw myself in somebody damn near where it was like, oh, wait, this nigga just like made it possible to talk about your life or your regular ass perspective in a way that's like appealing and like in a way that like, you know what I mean? Like this nigga became like my favorite artist at that point. So he kind of cracked my mind open. So then when I did jump back in, or right before my sophomore year, I didn't know it, but I had maybe developed the angle. And this was the.
All right, there you go. So he credits Kanye with being able to allow him a way to, speak on his life. So what do you think about that?
Respect to him taking a high road there. Bigging the man up, even though he called him a P word and said that you can't put Cole and up in the same sense. That's crazy.
Kind of harsh. Yeah, it's harsh. Harsh.
But shout out to Cole, doing his thing as always, taking the high road. I had mentioned this before about talking whenever we were talking about J. Cole. This guy, man, he really put in perspective that I think that there's something in being born in a particular year or being born in a particular cohort because he thinks, just like me in a lot of ways. And, I've also talked on here before about my journey whenever I was trying to make music was that, I can talk the battle stuff and, I can talk stuff, but it wasn't stuff that I lived because I didn't live the life that the industry was talking about. And so I had to have a situation with myself of what do I do? And much like J. Cole here, Kanye, he did provide a lane for people that didn't have all of this crazy street stuff going on in their life. But when I heard J. Cole's album, mixtape, the warm up, man. I played that back and forth, man. To this day, I still think that's his best work, if you ask me. And it was great. It was a breath of fresh air because it was literally like, damn, this is what I would have did if I had access to these beats, production, and all this. Just every word, damn near. So I know exactly where he's coming from, and I feel that. But it also sounds like J. Cole struggled still with that thing that I was telling you that I had in the sense of which lane should I play? And it seemed like he would always grapple with that, which lane should he play? So much so that he ended up being on stage with Drake. You know what I'm saying? Making songs like Grippy and doing other things where he's like, what are you doing, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you doing this? Because he feels like he's got to be something instead of being himself. And I think that's what got him in trouble with all of that stuff. That's what put him in the position to even get to take shots from Kendrick. That's what put him in a position to make might delete this later. So he has this thing that I don't feel like he's ever gotten over that complex of feeling like he's gotta be a certain way or do a certain thing in order to be on. So this is, to me, is quite telling if you ask me. I had that thing going on too, man. So I know exactly where he's coming from, but I drew a firm line in the sand that I'm not gonna say that on a song. I'm just not, And it got to the point where it's like, well, what the hell can I say? So I barely made any damn thing because man, you can talk some conscious stuff and try to open eyes and stuff, but people don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? The conditioning is crazy. So, trying to make a bop that people could also spend their brains to, I was finding a hard time finding that lane. And I know that, J. Cole has pressure from labels and other interests that say we need another hit. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't gonna be, these soulful songs that you made that made the radio. We need a banger. And then, so he'll come out and start talking about, itches and O's. You know what I'm saying crazy stuff and N-word in every other song and
Yeah,
talking about gun bars.
even though he's married, right?
Even though, yeah, he did that.
Yeah, he still
So
does.
yeah, so that's the thing where I feel as though he comes off as not authentic as much to certain people and feels like he can have shots taken at him by the likes of Kanye. But what are your thoughts, man, on J. Cole, man, giving Kanye some props here instead of I don't know, going back and forth with him. I think he just took the high road there. What are your thoughts, man?
I appreciate his comments, but they affirm what I've always said about him, which is he's an identity crisis rapper.
Yeah.
I've always said that him and Wale to me are the poster children for identity crisis rap.
Wale crazy, boy.
they can't they can't find out where their greatest level of comfort is. As soon as they get in one lane, they say, "Oh, I got to jump in this one." And as soon as they get in that other one, they like, "Oh, this isn't who I am. I need to jump back over here." Wale has oscillated up and down the pendulum so many times throughout his career. I thought when he was the most himself, he made that album. What was the name of it? It was like "This Is Crazy Wow" or "Wow That's Crazy" or it's called something like that. "That's Crazy Wow," I think, or whatever. I thought that was the most authentically Wale. And with J. Cole, like maybe his last one, the what is it called? The Off Season, I think. Maybe that was the one where I thought that he was the most like authentically himself throughout the whole thing, you know. But for the most part, he's always been an identity crisis rapper to me. Like I want to be the guy who's on that introspective stuff, but I still want to be in the street getting hoes all the time. Like I said before, I feel like there's a part of J. Cole that wishes he was Drake. That's why he makes music with him, I think. Because J. Cole wishes he was Drake, but he doesn't have Drake's makeup. He's not Drake. Drake is a different animal in terms of his personality and his values and his principles and his morals and his ethics. And Cole knows that. But despite knowing that, he still would like to be the dude. I really do believe that J. Cole, and no shade, J. Cole. I'm just saying, from an outsider's perspective, from a listener's perspective, I've always felt like J. Cole would like to be the guy who was getting with the strippers and the Instagram models and doing all of that stuff that Drake does. But he doesn't have it in him. And that's not, I don't mean that as an insult. I actually mean it as a compliment.
Okay.
I mean that as a compliment that he doesn't have it in him. He doesn't have it in him. I mean that as a compliment. Because you know what I think about Drake. I think Drake is a soulless vessel.
Yeah,
I don't think Drake is a real person. I think Drake is an avatar. So
agreed.
so like I don't think Drake has any principles or ethics. I just think Drake wants to be a rock star rapper. That's what I think Drake cares about. Drake reminds me. See, I think J. Cole got girls in high school. Like I think in high school J. Cole was able to get girls on his own merit.
Yeah.
Drake, on the other hand, was not getting girls in high school.
Agreed.
That's why he goes ape shit now, because now that he has all of this clout and money and fame, he's just gonna run roughshod on women because he wants to get payback for what he couldn't get without that stuff. I don't see J. Cole in that light. I feel like J. Cole was getting women when he was broke. So I kind of feel like J. Cole dips and dabs, but these comments, nevertheless, I respect them because I get it. Kanye probably gave him a source of inspiration for how he can figure out the way to best toe that line to be himself as much as he can and find a way to sonically deliver the kind of commentary through his music that he wants without feeling as though he has to cop out to street rap or tough guy rap or womanizing rap. Unlike Drake, who Drake to this day, even though we know this is not who this guy is, will still get on rap songs talking about who he's getting rid of on his, who he's getting off on ops and doing all of this tough guy rap.
To the
And by the way, do y'all Drake fans really buy this stuff?
Yeah, dog.
Like y'all Drake fans, I don't get it. I don't get Drake fans. I don't. Maybe it's just a lot of other fake tough guys who like a fake tough guy, I guess. I don't know. But I digress. But Kanye was, talking about, racial disparity and working regular jobs and having to deal with management and the man. And that's what Kanye was talking about on his first album.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people loved it. That's why I loved it so much.
Yeah, man.
That
Street
spaceship
blooded,
song
man.
talking about, you know, I want to climb into my spaceship and fly away. If I
Yeah,
gotta
man.
work this, if I gotta work this grave shift, like that related to people, and I get that, and I understand why people like J. Cole, who isn't a tough guy, gangster guy, street guy, gravitated towards that. But at the end of the day, J. Cole was still dealing with internal conflict because of his programming and that duality that I spoke of with DDG, where it's like, yes, this is who I am, but I wish that I could turn this off. Like people like J. Cole, and I share in some of this. So I'm not throwing stones at a glass house because I share in this.
Mm-hmm.
People like J. Cole wish that there was an on-off switch. And they wish that they could just flip the switch off and they can turn the brain off and allow the Drake in them to take over. Like that. That's what people like J. Cole wish. These guys. I was like that. I when I was younger, that's how I was. Like I wish that I could just flip a switch, turn my brain off, and hit the club and go Drake. But I'm not that, and there is no switch. You are who you are.
Right.
You are who you are, and eventually you're going to have to reconcile that. You can't keep living a lie. You can't. It's going to eat away enough at you that you're going to come to terms with who you are, and you're going to have to learn to live with that as comfortably as you can. And J. Cole still kind of sometimes does this identity crisis stuff, but I think for the most part he's accepted this and he's come to terms with that. You hear a lot less of this, these hoes this and I'm smashing this and all of this other kind of stuff. You hear a lot less of that now. Even though he still does it to a degree, you hear a lot less of it now than you used to with him, because he's made that realization. And age and marriage and fatherhood will do that to you. So I commend him for that, and I commend his appreciation for Kanye providing that template for him, because other rappers out here are still struggling with this identity crisis. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to be who they want, and they end up coming out this weird version of an artist that just does weird stuff. See the video we talked about last week talking about Logic.
Yeah.
Just can't figure it out. Can't figure it out. So I hear him on that. Kanye today, not so much, but certainly the Kanye from 2004, absolutely. I get with that 100%.
Yeah, man. College Dropout is I don't listen to it. I might listen to it again now. Especially that song you were talking about.
Spaceship. Yeah.
Spaceship. Yeah. That thing go hard, man. That thing go hard, man. And that got me through a lot of stuff, dog. That got me through a lot of stuff, man. And I played that all through college, honestly. Even though that's the stuff came out like our senior year of high school, I played that all through college, man. Because it was just, you weren't getting nothing like that at the time. Everything was still fresh off the bling bling and fresh off of making club bangers, and that had something to it, but A1 production. And you really didn't get that kind of stuff back then. So I can definitely understand where J. Cole's influence came from with that. But yeah, man, I agree with you, man. He did seem to have some of that identity stuff going on. And that's why I kind of fell off the train.
Me too.
Yeah. And I was on board with it, but then I was like, man, what is this, dude? And that's why I think he went all, I think what happened to him is when he got signed, he had to acquiesce a lot in order to be on or be put out or whatever. And I think him, going freeform locks, catching the bus, riding bikes. I think that was him just trying to get it all back.
Yeah.
And from whatever he sold out on. and I feel like he's been doing his juggling act between interest and his true art. And so on top of the identity stuff, because you ain't have to say none of that stuff, dude. I really feel like even if they were trying to make you make some stuff, you ain't have to go those angles. So yeah, he lost me a while ago. And if I do listen to J. Cole, this older stuff, like when he first came out, like I said, the warm up to me is still A1, spot on stuff. But and I also mentioned that Forest Hills for me was decent. I can listen to that again, but I haven't heard this last one you spoke of. I fell off the train. But I still reserve something for the guy. I think that he's just a confused man sometimes. But he speaks my mind a lot. He does a lot of the stuff. He says a lot of the stuff that I feel, and that's why I know there's a good dude in there somewhere. And he just got caught up in the game, and he's just a good dude in the game.
Yeah, I feel you. Sometimes it really is a burden to be a principled person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I'm going to get manospheric here, but I think sometimes it really is a burden to be a principled man in today's world, because there's the world of the flesh, and then there's the world of the higher calling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people like J. Cole design themselves somehow to be in both. And you can't be in both.
No, you can't do this one or the other, bro.
You can't be in both, bro. And like, I get it, because I know what that feels like. Like, J. Cole went to St. John's. That's where he went to school. Like, I went to FSU. You was at FAMU, right? Like, J. Cole used to talk often about all of the pretty girls in college and the kind of guys that they went for, and how he wasn't that. It's hard to deal with that. Like, so what you find yourself doing is, how do I make myself that? But you can't do it. You can't flip that switch. It's not like, life is not a light switch that you can just flip on and off and be a different person. But you still try anyway. You still try. Like, bro, all throughout, especially when I was an undergrad, I used to try to morph my personality into so many different amalgamations to be the kind of guy that I thought the cute girls were into, because I saw the kind of guys that they liked. All the girls that looked good, the guys that they were interested in, they looked and acted a certain kind of way. They dressed a certain kind of way. And, not that I'm a bad dresser, but they dressed a certain kind of way.
It was on something else.
Yeah. They
and I wasn't on that.
Yeah. They wore their hair a certain kind of way. They did. They had tattoos a certain kind of way. There was an archetype for what the cute girls apparently liked, and I didn't fit that mold. But I still want to get with cute girls. So what can I do? That's the kind of guy I feel like J. Cole is. That he's that vessel of a person. And I see the same thing with guys like Wale. I see the same thing with these. You can hear it in their music. You can hear it. It's like they know who they are deep down, but they still try to create this caricature to satisfy certain superficial needs that they have.
Agreed.
And at the end of the day, you are who you are, and you can't fake the funk for very long.
Right.
You can't do it. So, you look at J. Cole now, his wife isn't an Instagram thought or nothing like that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this stuff is going to show through. It just is. So like when you say he signed to a label and he had to do a certain degree of, tap dancing, if you will, selling out, there was probably an element of that going on. But I also think he was trying to morph himself willingly into this thing that he's not.
A lover boy.
Like if you listen to his first like 3 albums, like the Born Sinner, what was his first one called? The second one was Born Sinner. The first one was Dang, I should know this. It's a shame I don't know this off the top of my head.
Oh, the story, the
The
sideline.
sideline story, yeah, the sideline story. So if you listen to that and the Born Center, he's all over the map where it's just like I'm this introspective, thought-provoking, higher plane of existence, but it's like I still want to be in the club and I want to get with these girls and I want to do this and I want
Oh,
to
listen
be
to
the
it.
biggest Mac and do all of that kind of stuff, and it's like it creates cognitive dissonance within you. And I think, the difference between him and Kanye, though, Kanye never really did that.
No, he did.
Kanye was on that talking about society stuff, but Kanye was still, this is where I am when it comes to women. And like it or take it or leave it. This is how I feel about that. You know what I'm saying? But J. Cole would be like, oh, I'm dipping and dabbing. I want to get with Erykah Badu, but then I also want to get with Brittany Renner. And it's like, bro, you got to pick one. You can't do both.
Yeah.
You're not Drake. You're not. And again, I say that with compliments. I don't mean that as an insult. But, I'm happy to see that, by all appearances, he's been able to transition into being more comfortable in his own skin, even though he will still from time to time go back and forth. But he used to do it way more when he first came out, when he was kind of at his younger period, because J. Cole's our age, bro.
Yeah.
He used to do it way more back when he was first coming out. Back when he was signed to Rock, Jay-Z and Rock Nation and all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's more of his own person, and it's cool to see. And if Kanye was the inspiration of that, I think he's all good for it. And if this is indeed his last album, hopefully this is the album that is most representative of the human being that he is. And hopefully he doesn't do too much of that tap dancing back and forth where he's J. Cole, but then J. Cole, the Drake version.
Yeah, agreed, man. So hopefully this is I didn't know this was going to be his last piece of work. So fingers crossed that it's actually his thoughts on this and his true feelings about things, because I do think that his introspective stuff, it hits a lot of chords with a lot of people, and I think that's why he has so many fans. Is because of his introspective like thoughts, and not his thought raps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know who's really there for those. I really don't. And and I know he's got a ton of fans, and I'm pretty sure we've already offended quite a bit of them. but if you guys are hearing what we're saying that we really like the introspective part, the part you like, and the part we criticize is the other stuff, the part that sounds a little industry, the stuff that sounds like it's contradicting the stuff you just heard in the last song. So that's my critique with him. So hopefully it's all in one line and stuff. But I really think him signing with Rock Nation was a gift and a curse for him. It gave him great exposure, and he was allowed to do his thing on his mixtapes. But when he did that album, that's when the contradictions happened. That's when the videos came out with certain stuff in there that I was like, hey man, why you got this going on in your video, bro? I thought you was one of us, and he's got, crazy stuff happening, and, he had to do his thing. He was part of the industry, man. So, tormented, man, I'm sure, he has his demons, and stuff. I guess no pun intended with the Born Center stuff and all this good and evil stuff that he had going on, but that's him.
Yeah.
That is him in a nutshell, man. So I guess that was a good little thing that he had going for himself, because that's what his rap career has been.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, he do look like a clown for teaming up with Drake at all. I was still never in favor of that. I was shocked when I first saw it. I was like, what is this? What's going on here? What did I miss? I thought I missed something. I clearly missed something. So I wasn't a fan of that. And I wasn't a fan of this whole beef thing, how he handled that. But hey, man, ain't nobody perfect, man. So hopefully this album is on the straight and narrow. And if it's got some crazy stuff in there, I'll let y'all know about it. I ain't gonna hold back. I ain't no overall fanboy. I still hold people feet to the fire. So best of luck to you, Mr. J. Cole, man. And Kanye, get well, bro.
Get well.
I don't know what Kanye on, bro. Get well, bro.
Yeah, Kanye on some crazy stuff,
I
man.
don't know what he on,
Yeah.
bro. Every
Yeah.
week, bro, there's an article. I go, I'm not covering this.
Yeah.
This guy's out of his mind. He in the paper every week.
Yeah, for some salaciousness. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, shouts out to Cole, man. Good luck, brother. You know, you Cole is potentially on the bigger and better things. Like if he puts the microphone down, I can imagine J. Cole being truly a beacon for the community in ways that aren't fake and contrived and that are actually productive and pragmatic. So we'll see what comes from that. But in the meantime, we look forward to the next album. Out of respect, J. Cole is one of those people that from a like legacy wise, even if I'm not as much of a fan of him now as I was before, when he does something, I'm going to listen to it at least once out of reverence. And then, you know, I make my determination from there. So we'll see. But shouts out to Cole, man. Good luck, bro.
Good luck, bro.
All right. So with that closes us out this week. Everybody, another stream in the books. Conscious Approach once again on YouTube. Shouts out to everybody who tuned in to tonight's stream. Shouts out to everybody who subscribes to us, who hits that like button, who leaves a comment. We certainly appreciate all the support as we continue to fully flesh out this community and keep this train rolling, man. Check us out on Instagram at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. The website is also there, constantapproach.com. I am on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. We are also creating Conscious Approach begrudgingly on TikTok. I don't trust me, people. I don't want to do this, but it's also very beneficial. So be on the lookout for that. Once we launch it, we'll be uploading all of the individual videos on the TikTok channel as well, so you can interface with us there too.
Yeah.
You know, and moving forward, as I always like to say, as we end each and every video, please, everybody, think for yourself. Don't be a group thinker. Have a mind of your own. Unplug from the matrix. Go to all of my sports teams. He went 2-4 on a recent road trip, but we did beat the terrible Philadelphia 76ers last night. So shouts out to that. But until next time, folks, we'll catch you on the flip side.
And the name is Dogon SS. You can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS and on YouTube, TikTok, DraftKings, every other platform that you guys are on. I'm on that thing too, Dogon_SS. And as I say on every pod, guys, all right, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until the next time, everyone, thank you for liking and subscribing. More rings than Robert Ory. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
Yep, that's right. Y'all stay safe out there. Parents, let your kids go outside.
For real,
everybody think for yourselves. We will see you on the next video. We will see you on the next stream. But until then, peace.
Peace. Go Kurt. Hell yeah. We're on TikTok now. Let's do it.